Good morning, 721. It's the Fox. What is up? The Rick Lewis Show. All right, let's get to the phones here and bring on our guest, Dr. Sadie Allison. She is a best-selling author, publisher, and also has been on many, many TV and radio shows, and she is a sex expert. And we bring her on, and we're going to talk about sex with Dr. Sadie. Good morning.
Good morning, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on the show. Yeah, we're excited to have you on here today.
Thank you.
So you've had several books, looks like 6 bestsellers.
Yeah. I started in 2001. I had always been I was nicknamed the Little Dr. Ruth in high school. I was that advice giver, go-to girl for all my friends about sex. And I taught several of my girlfriends by teaching them about their bodies, how to go and self-pleasure so that they can have a better sex life.
Your phone's kind of cutting out a little bit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it keeps clipping.
Here, how's this? Is that better?
Yep,
Yep,
way
that's better, yeah.
Way better.
Okay, so that desire to help other women and the fulfillment that I got by teaching them how to enjoy themselves led me to write my first book called Tickle Your Fancy, A Woman's Guide to Self-Pleasure back in 2001. And then came Toygasms and Tickle His Pickle, which is, I get a lot of thanks from men for writing that book. Because, Kathy, you might know, you've probably talked to a lot of your girlfriends that are just curious how to do things right, because we never learn how to please each other. You know, in school you might learn about birth control and things like that, but they don't teach you how to give pleasure and how to receive pleasure.
Well, I don't think they teach that in school for men or women. I think that's kind of
Right.
something you learn along the way on your own.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, and unfortunately some of the guys out there are learning by watching adult entertainment, and that has its place, but it's not really what most women want in the bedroom. And girls, you know, they learn from each other, but really it's putting out some good sex education and the information that people need so that they can really learn how to enjoy themselves.
You mentioned porno, and this is a topic that comes up on the show all the time. Porno is so accessible today, and a lot of people watch it. A lot of young people are watching it, and they do get I would say, a false expectation of what sex is going to be like, or maybe they think this is how you're supposed to do it. And
Absolutely.
that messes around with a lot of people, doesn't it?
It really does, because that medium is supposed to be fast and exciting, and the women are already warmed up, and it's really not how real life is in the bedroom. And so a lot of guys go in thinking that that's what women want, but it's not really what we want. I mean, women like things gentle and slow, and we need a build-up so that our blood flow can go to the right places, and it takes longer than that. It's really a bad teacher. So guys should not use porn as their teacher.
We had Susan Sarandon on the other day, and she talked about that when she becomes a little older, she might make direct porno for women, because she says porno's not reality for women.
No. Oh, I love Susan Sarandon. She said that, huh?
Yeah, believe it or not, we talked about porn with Susan Sarandon.
She was awesome. She's like, maybe when I'm 80.
Good for her. She's still very young at heart, you could tell.
Pretty cool.
And here's a little example, just to give you an idea of when we say slow and gentle. If you, Rick, let's say you had an eyelash stuck in your eye, and we've all had that happen. You kind of take your fingertip and you touch your eyeball very gently to kind of rub it out.
Rub it out, yes.
Rub it out.
Uh-huh. Right? I see where you're going. Uh-huh.
Yep. That's how soft you want to touch your woman when we're talking about her pleasure button.
Oh.
That soft.
That's soft.
You do it.
You start that soft.
Start that. Some women will guide you and want different, but you always safe zone is to start soft and go very slowly.
That's good advice. I think that's good advice right there.
Well, and the key thing, I think, is that hopefully your partner and you can talk about things, because every person is different. You can't try the same thing on every girl, because that girl may not like that, or that may not be her erotic button.
Exactly. Every person is different. So you may have been a stud in the bedroom with one lady. You go get a new girlfriend, you have to start fresh.
Yep.
And vice versa, because everyone's so different. And that's where sex toys come in. I actually have a boutique online. It's called TickleKitty.com, where I curate all the best of the sex toys in today's market. And a lot of women actually need extra stimulation to achieve that place. If you know what I'm talking about.
We're talking to Dr. Sadie Allison. I have questions for you. Regarding self-pleasure, is this more guys' self-pleasure than women? That's the stereotype. Is that true?
That's right. It is true. Men do it a little more frequently than women, but more women than we realize are actually doing it. Like 80% of women, high 90s for men.
Okay.
It's
pretty
just that
close.
There's just been that bad stigma, but it is International Self-Pleasure Month. And in case you didn't know, that actually was started in 1995 in honor of former Surgeon General Jocelyn Elders. I'm not sure if you recall, but she was the
that's right.
first African-American woman in that position, and she actually suggested that self-pleasure be part of sex education curriculum in schools. And then got fired for it.
That's right. I do remember that. Yeah, that was very controversial.
Yeah. So, everybody banded together and the holiday was created. And so every year I like to get out and spread the love and encouragement because it's such a natural, safe, healthy act for women and men.
It is, but what age would you teach your kids about self-pleasure? Because I don't know if the age that they learn sex education is too early.
Do you teach your kids about that?
Well, she was saying that the Surgeon General was saying that
teach your kids.
Yeah, they need to learn.
Really?
Just to talk about it and not shame it, because so many people grew up hearing, "Oh, you're going to grow hair on your palms, or you'll get pregnant," and all
you'll go blind.
Ridiculous things, ridiculous.
Well,
so we've come a long way, and that's the thing is they don't teach you about this stuff in school. But when it comes to talking to your kids about it, it's really answering your kids with age-appropriate responses.
Don't you think most people figure it out on their own, though, right? If it's not that difficult to figure it out.
Well, for guys, it's easy. The wind blows, you're ready to go. They even have researched and found that male babies in the womb are doing it.
I think I saw that somewhere. Yeah.
And girls do it at a young age, too. And it's not that they're being sexual. They don't even know that this is a sexual thing. It's just, okay, I have this spot on my body. I swished past it with a blanket, and oh, my gosh, it tickled and it felt good. So lots of kids are pleasing themselves because it feels good, but they have no clue that it's called masturbation or that it's a sexual act. And it's safe and it's healthy.
It is
natural.
healthy. Yeah, there are a lot of studies out today, especially for men, for prostate health. Very, very healthy to have sex a couple times a week, throughout your entire life. And for women, too, I would imagine, there's a lot of benefits for health benefits. Not just endorphins, but your hormones and everything else, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're dead on the money.
I'm pretty smart when it comes to this stuff. I have an honorary doctorate in this, Dr. Sadie.
Your masturbation.
Yeah,
he knows himself really well.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's that old saying: use it or lose it. And these are organs on our bodies, and they need to have be exercised along with your pelvic muscle, which is the love muscle. It's that same in men and women that we have down in the pelvis that actually is the muscle responsible for the big O in the grand finale.
The sex toy thing, we got a lot to ask you here. Can you hang on through another segment?
I sure can.
All
if
right.
you want to, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to what?
If anyone wants to see what the books look like, I got some really fun covers and toys on the website as we talk along.
Go ahead and give your website out. That's fine. You could do that.
Sure. Tickle Kitty.
Tickle Kitty. Okay, ticklekitty.com. We'll check it out here, and we'll have more with Dr. Sadie Allison coming up. The Rick Lewis Show, 103.5 The Fox. We're back on the Fox 733 Rick Lewis Show, and let's go back to the phones here. We have Dr. Sadie Allison with us, and she's a sex expert, has written several bestsellers. And we have a caller here that had a... You take a call, Dr. Sadie, do you mind?
Sure.
Okay. We have, oops.
Yeah.
Did you hang up?
What did I do?
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Okay, you're still there. Hang on.
Phones. Hang on.
Hang on. We'll have to put her back on, get her back on the show. She's written several best-selling books and is a leading authority on human sexuality since 2001. And her mission is to empower women and men to embrace a deeper enjoyment of their sexuality, which we all agree is healthy, right? So we'll get to you, caller, here in one minute. Here, let me get Dr. Sadie back on. What did I do wrong, Dragon? We got a different phone system here.
So pull her up.
Okay, put her on.
and then hit it again, so that'll lock her in so she doesn't drop off.
Hit her again.
Yep.
Okay.
There
Okay. There we go. All right. Thanks. Thank you, Dr. Sadie. All right. Let's get to our call. Hello. You're on the Fox.
Hey.
What's your name?
Casper.
Casper. Hey, Casper. You have a question?
More just a comment on teaching people at a young age about masturbation.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody taught me, and I ended up watching that movie American Pie. And,
Yeah.
And you used an apple pie?
No, and then that movie Something About Mary, right, where he's got like the magazine and he's in his bathroom right before he meets up on his big date.
Is that healthy, Dr. Sadie? Is that a good way to learn?
It's one method. It can help, yes.
Okay. All right, Casper. I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah, thanks for getting me on, man.
All right, man. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, I mean, people generally figure it out on their own pretty, one way or the other.
They do. Guys figure it out easily because your organs are all on the outside, but women, we're a little more complicated.
Yes.
It's a little more complex because we have several parts to our female parts. A lot of them go inward and inside, and they don't teach you about this in school, and your girlfriends only know what they know, so we never really learn how to pleasure ourselves. And then coupled with that is a lot of women that grew up with shame and being told it was sinful and fear and those kind of things. So then it's like, oh, no, I don't want to do that at all. So we're really going through a sexual revolution, and women are more and more coming out of their shells and embracing and empowering themselves to know that pleasure is your natural birthright. It's your sexuality. It's part of your body, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
You said you were the expert when you were young with your friends. How did you become an expert? Just practice?
Practice. I was an explorative girl. I was having a good time. I grew up in the 70s in San Francisco, so there was no sexual shame in my home or around me. So I'm fortunate in that way that my parents were hippies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Free and open. So I grew up with a healthy mindset around myself and my body and sexuality, and I learned from talking to my friends in high school that they weren't having a good time with their boyfriends, and they didn't quite know, the guys were fumbling in the dark, if you will, and so were they. And so I just wanted to share my knowledge and give them that information so they can have the same kind of fun I was having.
I can't imagine that high school sex is very enjoyable for girls at all. Guys, guys always manage to have a good time. But guys have no idea what they're doing, number one. Number two, they really don't care all that much. It's got to be kind of a nightmare for girls, I would think. Young girls.
Yeah, it's definitely a phase. Like looking back now at the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, it's, in the 20s, everybody's learning who they are, and they're experimenting and making dumb mistakes and doing things like that. So you're really just, you're new to life, you're fresh in college, and you really don't know what you're doing. You're right. It isn't that fun. But then when you're in your 30s, that's when women really start figuring out what they like, what they don't like, how to speak up and ask for what you want, and those sorts of things. And then come the 40s, you hear that that's a woman's sexual peak.
Mm-hmm. Is that true?
And it's yes.
Scientifically proven. Okay, you can attest to that. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and it's because women are finally in that place where it's like, okay, I've been there, I've done that. I've gone through this type of guy. I've gone through that type of guy. I know what I want. I'm not afraid to ask, and I embrace it, and I'm cool with that. And so the 40s is a really wonderful time for women, and our hormones are fluctuating. So women often, and that's why older women like younger guys sometimes. So it kind of matches in the stamina.
Yeah. So younger, like 22-year-old guy when you're in your 40s, or how much younger will you go?
For me, not that young. I actually have a lovely man in my life, but to each their own. But I never was one that liked guys that were that much younger, because there's a maturity thing that you're dealing with as well.
Right. Yes, there is. Regarding sex toys, which you're also an expert at, that industry's really, really blown up. And most of them are for women for obvious reasons, but there are some out there for men as well. I don't know if you think men really, is this something that's becoming popular with men?
Absolutely. And
it is.
Actually, Rick, there's a ton of sex toys for men these days, and couples that you use at the same time. So it's really, and I have it on my website. You can even see I have it for men, women, and couples, real easy categories. But there's a ton of toys for beginners all the way up to the the more experienced action thrill seekers. But there's this new
Kathy
toy that
Lee?
I just can't.
I only like
I
the
gotta tell you-
fleshlight.
Oh yeah. Those are nice. I hear that's like the next best to the real thing. There's a guy's fleshlight, or one on my website that's very similar called the Tanga Flip Hole. That's one of the top men's pleasure toys.
What do you say to a guy that's a little bit nervous about going to go buy something like that? Because when a woman goes and buys a vibrator, she's strong and empowered. When a guy goes and does stuff, there's the stigma that he's a lonely loser. So
Pervert,
how do you how do you convince a guy? How do you talk up a guy to go?
You order it online.
There you go. And what's cool is that you can go online together and read the descriptions and look at all the pictures and choose them at the same time, something you guys both want to try. And here's a trick. Is you get something either that you wear together as a couple's vibrating ring, for example, or you get something that's something for each of you and that you use on each other and with each other. It's fun foreplay. It's not supposed to replace your lover or anything like that. It's really just to add some newness and excitement. And I have to tell you, there's this new toy on the market that's revolutionary. It's called the Womanizer, and it's so new. I haven't seen anything like this in 15 years. I'm really excited about it. It has an air pleasure technology, so it's got a tip. It sits against the woman's body, and her pleasure button's right where it needs to be. And there's an air suction technology. So if you think about what the favorite thing is men like in the bedroom, it's 2 letters, and it starts with B. So this does the same kind of thing, but for a woman. And it's amazing.
Where would Kathy get one?
I can send Kathy one. Do you want one, Kathy?
I don't know. I have to.
She wants
we'll
one.
talk
Yeah.
off air.
Yeah,
We'll talk off air.
Yeah.
Check it out it's right on my homepage on ticklekitty.com. The Womanizer. Take a look at it and tell me if it looks interesting.
I'm going to check it out.
But here's the clincher: 52% of the women in the test group that tried this toy out achieved a big O in less than 60 seconds.
Ooh.
Wow, really works good.
It really does. It's amazing. And
Oh,
so
there's a
for
picture
women-
of it. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
Interesting.
It doesn't look intimidating at all.
It looks like my mope pedicure thing.
Yep, or a pipe. I've been told it looks
It looks like a
It
pipe.
does
Yeah, it
look
looks like a pipe.
You could probably turn that
Or-
into a bong pretty easy.
You could. Or that'll mess up the airflow, though. You don't want to mess up your main thing for your 60-second thing. But it also looks like an otoscope.
Let me ask you this, is that we've talked about virtual sex. A lot of companies are now coming out with these virtual sex people. So, we want to know more about that.
Yeah. Can we talk? Do you have time for one more, like 5 minutes on the other side of the break thing?
I sure do.
Okay, great. Because that's a great question about virtual reality sex, which
I want to ask her
seems
about
to be something that maybe everyone will be doing in the future. We're with Dr. Sadie Allison here on the Dr. Rick Lewis Show, and more coming up with Dr. Sadie on the Fox. All right, we're back on the Fox. Dr. Sadie Allison, we got a couple of minutes left with her this morning here on the Rick Lewis Show, and wanted to talk about the virtual reality sex, which we've been reading about a lot lately. It's out there. It's already available. How soon will it be before it's affordable where everybody will have one of these setups at their house, Dr. Sadie?
It's a good question. Virtual reality, amazing stuff, isn't it? Well, they're not that expensive now. There's a suit, a virtual full-body virtual interface, they call it, that I was learning about. And I think the last I read, it's about $300 in pounds. I guess it's out in England.
So it's really not that expensive.
Yeah, it's not too bad for people that really like to indulge in this. But this suit, actually, you put it on, so you've got the interface that goes on your eyes, and then this bodysuit that actually simulates as if someone was moving against you and has a soft cushiony area for breath on the chest. So it's just the virtual reality isn't just what you see these days in the helmet or in the goggles, but it's like a full body experience.
The Japanese aren't they on the forefront of this, developing this? Yeah.
Yeah, and the company Tanga that makes some of the male pleasurizers that we were talking about that are on my site, they're the ones that are spearheading this as well, because some of these virtual reality setups also have a mechanical device that can actually use one of the men's toys on you while you're in your virtual reality.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you could just lay there and be in a whole different world and be feeling all of these physical sensations by the suit, by the goggles, and by some of the equipment around you that's doing everything for you.
I wonder, what was that Tom Cruise movie? Was it The Matrix? Where they featured this virtual reality sex booth kind of that people would go in and have virtual reality sex. The movie took place in the future. And you wonder if maybe someday, a couple hundred years from now, if that's all anybody will be doing, will there be any real, human sexuality?
Don't you think that there is always going to be human?
Right.
Because of the touch.
There always has to be. It kind of reminds me of what's going on right now with devices and the new generation growing up as native internet users with a mobile phone in their hand when they're born, and the lack of interpersonal skills that our younger generation are learning by contact with people and other human beings and conversation without this device distracting them every second. So it's a little scary where technology is taking everything from, the handheld devices to virtual reality, but nothing will ever take the place of that real physical personal contact, looking at someone in the eyes, saying sweet things to each other and feeling their energy. So I really hope people don't ever lose sight of how important that is in our lives. While we can enjoy all these other things that technology brings us, but to really keep that interpersonal skills and watch out for our kids and really encourage that interpersonal contact and manage those devices. I have a couple girls, and we're learning real fast how much they're exposed to. Do you know the average kid now at 9 years old is seeing hardcore porn?
What?
No kidding.
That's disturbing.
Wow.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And as parents, we need to proactively have these conversations because they're seeing it. So we have no choice. So we have to talk about all of these types of things that they're really too young to know just yet about the stuff they're seeing, but we have to so that they're educated and they can make good choices because they're curious, they're looking at it, and if it's not in your house, it's on their friend's phone.
Are kids in general having sex at a younger age than we did? Is that also a trend?
Yes, still going on. So that's why sex education in schools just about STDs and protecting yourself alone, because kids are going to do it regardless, whether you tell them to wait for marriage or whatever your values are. So we really need to teach them about STDs and how to protect themselves so that they have the ammunition of knowledge so they can make wise decisions when you're not there.
Great advice. Hey, you've been a good guest. Thanks for coming on the show, Dr. Sadie.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, let's do this again sometime. Her website, ticklekitty.com. She's got all of her books up there and all the other stuff that you can get on that website. And you got like a discount, a special deal going on this month?
Yeah, all those fun pleasure toys. Well, I talked about the Womanizer, the 60-second orgasm for women. I have a special going on because it's International Self-Pleasure Month. Anybody who decides to try out the Womanizer, I'm sending a free set of all 6 of my best-selling how-to sex books, a bottle of Slippery Kitty Lube, free shipping. So I want everybody to have pleasure, just like I did in high school.
Very nice. All right. Thanks for coming on. We'll do it again soon.